Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of TriRightCoaching.com live here on Facebook. So this week is how to plan for next season. And I know some of you guys are probably thinking, next season, MJ, I'm not even done with this season yet. How can I even start thinking about next season? But I'm here to tell you that it is not too early to start planning your season for next year. And I'm not saying start signing up for races and put it all in stone. All I'm saying is that you need to start thinking now about the things you want to fix, change, improve, or what you want to do. What are your goals going to be for next year? So, hey Lisa, hey Carrie, hey Cheryl. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. So, oh, wait, you can't see that. TriRightCoaching.com. There, I'm pointing to it on the phone like you guys can see it, right? TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. If you want to get this week's bonus, it includes all this stuff, but here it is, a whole lot more. Swim stuff, bike stuff, run stuff, all the things that you want to think about to consider for next year and how to make 2018 a successful one for you. Hey Janine, hey Jim. Wait, Janine, girl, I don't think I saw you last week. This doesn't look right. It's actually very, very bright pink with one little sparkly one here. I did that for you. All right, you guys. So the very first thing you want to do when you start thinking about the 2018 season is to reflect. Reflect upon this season and how things went. Did it go as planned for you? I mean, I really want you to sit down, and this is something just between you and you, yourself, and you. Like me, myself, and I, right? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks you did or didn't do. It really depends on how you think you did. And you really have to get down and be honest with yourself about, did you achieve the things that you wanted to achieve? If not, where did you fall short? What corrections need to be made for next year? Hey Lilia, welcome. Sorry, my dog he's missed me today and he's being all leechy. You can't see him. But anyway, he's here. So, I wanted to say, if you wanted to win, I'm giving away another pair of these really cool socks that say Finish Strong. Okay. All you have to do is share this video, right? So strong. You can wear them either way, I guess. Strong finish, finish strong. Oh, I thought these are so awesome. They're so awesome. But that's what I'm giving away. All you have to do is share this video to be entered in next week's raffle. So back to reflecting. Did your season go as planned? Did you get injured somehow, and have you figured out what happened to cause that injury? And did you make some mistakes along the way? Let's just say you didn't get injured. Maybe you had a good season. But were there mistakes that you think maybe you made that you could have corrected, that you could prevent from next year? I'll tell you really quick one thing that I did. And I wasn't even really new anymore at Ironman, but it was 2010. So let's see, I've been doing Ironman for 5 years. So it was 2010, and so when I do an Ironman, and you guys, I don't care if it's Ironman or sprint or a marathon, whatever it is that you're doing. I'm just telling you my experience, but I want you to relate it to yourself. So when I do an Ironman, I no longer take in solid calories. They're all liquid, right? So I put all my calories in one water bottle. And this is on the bike at Lake Placid. And the bike in Lake Placid is really, really hilly. And for those of you that know me, I don't exactly have great balance. So I don't like taking my hands off the handlebars. It's plain and simple. I just don't. So, especially going uphill, downhill, I'm trying to control the bike. I didn't drink so if I planned for, let's just say, for example, easy 6-hour bike ride, I took as much calories as I needed for 6.5 hours, because I always allow for a little bit extra in case it takes you longer than you think. And so when I'm riding, when I pass the 56-mile mark, I better make sure that I have half my bottle gone. Well, I didn't do that, and probably because I was either going uphill or downhill, because for any of you that know anything about Lake Placid, there's nothing flat about it. But I got to the end of the bike ride, and I was probably like a mile, 100 105, 110, and I looked and I had almost 3/4 of my calories left in that water bottle. I almost started crying because I knew I screwed up. I screwed up because I just knew that I had to have more calories in at that point. I just wasn't thinking about it because I was so focused on staying on course and staying on those hills and, not crashing. So I kind of freaked out a little bit, but I ruined my race that way. I ruined my race because I didn't take in the calories that I know that I needed. So when I talk about what mistakes were made, I knew that was my mistake. I knew it. I knew that there was no way I could recover and come back strong because I didn't take in enough fuel. And when you're working out like that, guys, when you're racing, you can't catch up. Like once you put yourself into that deficit, you can't really ever catch up. I never caught up. So, hey Dave, hey Aaron. Hey, Nora. Thank you guys so much for hopping in. I appreciate it. All right. The other thing you want to do when you reflect is to look at what went well. So what did you do right? Did you pace yourself right? Did you taper right? Did you do all of your run workouts at say, the right pace, exactly where you wanted to be? Note that stuff. And I'll tell you one thing that we do as we get more experienced, and I, myself included, is I stopped taking notes on the things that I was doing. So when I did have a successful race or season, it was very hard for me to go back and be like, okay, well, when did I start to taper? And what did I do on that bike ride? And what pace was I holding on those runs? Like, I think I know, but I never wrote it down. So when I was new to the sport, I wrote everything down. I've got years and years, and I still have it. Years and years of, here's what I did every single day, and here's what my times were. Here was what my goal was. Here's what I actually did. Here's where I could correct it. And I did that for every single workout. Yes, it's a little OCD of me, but I did. But you also, so not only do you have to think about what mistakes that you made, but you also have to look at what you did well so that you make sure that you can take that stuff with you to next season. Use it, right? Use the things that went well for you. So I wanted to announce last week's winner of the $25 Jamba Juice gift card, and that was Shannon Vargas. Shannon, I know your address, girl, but in order for you to claim this, because I got to make sure you're still watching these videos, you've got to message me, and I'll send this out to you, because I'm not sure the next time I'll see you. So there you go. And if you want to win this week's bonus, which is another really, really cool pair of socks that they're red and black, or I guess kind of grayish, charcoal gray, and they say on the back, finish strong. They're so cute, so cute. All you have to do is share this video, and I'm going to enter you in a raffle for these for next week. Hey, Justin, welcome. Hey, I heard about your, wasn't it you that crashed at Steelhead last week? How you doing? You okay? Hey, Bill, thanks for hopping in. Okay, so the next thing you want to do when you're planning for next year, yes, we're planning for next year already. And I'm not saying give up on any races or anything like that. You don't have to do anything drastic. It's really about thinking about the steps you need to take. So the next thing is to choose races, right? So you need to think about, did you do enough races this year? Did you not do enough? I mean, sometimes, I've gotten into ruts where, I shouldn't say ruts, but I'd be racing 2 out of every 3 weekends. And I've never been a coach to say, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. I'm more of the coach to say, well, you can do it. Here's the positives. Here's the negatives. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how you have to treat that race. Okay. So racing is fun, right? I mean, hopefully your training is fun too, but racing is fun. So you just can't, if you're going to race that frequently, you can't treat every single race as an all out, effort, or you will exhaust yourself. But anyway, so you want to think about the time frame. And this is really important, especially for those of us in the Midwest, where we are forced to train indoors, at least biking and swimming, for a good chunk of the year, right? So one year I did Coeur d'Alene when it was in June. It was in June. I thought that was so early. I thought Lake Placid at the end of July was early for an Ironman because it didn't give me enough time to actually get out there and do a bunch of 80 and 100-mile rides in the nice weather. I mean, you'd think end of July, you'd think you'd be ready, but I remember going into it thinking, I wish I had like another 3 weeks. I really could use another long ride, So you really have to think about what works for you. And those of you who are fortunate enough to be teachers and have the summer off, you don't want your Ironman to be maybe October, November, December, because you're back in school. But if you can schedule it, August, September-ish. And now that there are so many other options, look at when you're going to have a bulk of time to be able to put the long hours in. And even if you're doing a sprint, think about the other obligations that you have in your life, family parties, or your kids going back to school, or, really tough time at work. So like for accountants, when they have certain times of the year that they're really, really busy and putting in all those hours, you probably don't want to have a race during that time. So how come nobody's hitting like, or am I just missing it? Like, nobody's giving me any love on this video tonight. Anyway, so I want you to think about the time frame that works best for you and your schedule, all right? The next thing you want to think about is terrain. Are you good at hills? Are you better at flat? Do you like trail running? Put those races into your schedule. Put the ones that cater to your strengths into your schedule, and I'm not saying all of them are going to be that, so not every race you're ever going to do is be flat. And I'll tell you another really quick story. So in 2009, when I actually ended up doing 3 Ironman in 1 year, which was not the plan, but my plan was I did not feel I was a very good hill rider, and I decided I was going to do Louisville as my warm-up. That was my warm-up Ironman. It's crazy. To Florida, which was flat, because I know I can ride flat fast. I'm not good up the hills, but I can be flat fast for a long time. Well, it turned out by the time I got to Louisville, I ended up being a good hill rider. But that's not why I did. I picked Louisville because it was just a warm-up, and I thought it would be fun to use that as a practice race for my goal race, which was Florida, which ended up not being a really good race for me anyway. So you never really know what's going to happen. A lot of things changed for me during that season, and things may change for you too. So what I want you to do is think about what are your strengths? What plays to your strengths? So if you are not a great sighter, like when I say sighter, I mean in the water, like you have a hard time picking your head up and looking to where the next buoy is, or the sun's in your face, like at Muncie or even at Iron Girl. If you hate those kind of races, then don't do them, right? Or work that weakness, right? But cater to something. So if oceans, if you're afraid of saltwater, saltwater getting in your mouth, maybe you don't want to do a race like Ironman Florida. Maybe you don't want to do St. Anthony's. You don't want to do something that's in the ocean. And that's okay. It's okay. So I want you to pick races that are in your time frame and the terrain that kind of plays to you. Before I go on, one more time, guys, if you want to win these socks. Hey, Keith, welcome. Check out these socks, dude. I'll tell you later how I got these. Strong finish. How cool is that? How cool is that? All you have to do is share this video. I'll be entered in the raffle to get these socks. So I like them to say strong finish, but you could say finish strong. Doesn't matter. Anyway, if you want to entered in a raffle to win those socks, all you have to do is share this video. Okay, so the last thing you want to do is distance. You have to think about, again, what distance, first of all, is what's your goal, but what else are you good at? Okay, so me personally, never been really good at sprints. I just don't have those fast twitch muscles. I just don't. I can go a good pace for a long time, and I've always been that way. Back when I first started swimming, I was never a good 50 freestyler, never. But I got that distance thing down, so I could go not as fast as everybody else, but I could hold a good pace for longer than most people. But everybody's different, right? So you have to think about what works for you. And you guys, when think about marathon, think about half marathon. I don't know. I guess I'm okay at both of those, but 5K, 10K, not so good. Not so good. So it really just depends. Like, what are your goals? I mean, maybe your goal is not to be at the podium, but maybe your goal is just to finish that Ironman or finish that marathon, or even take it from a sprint triathlon to an Olympic triathlon next year. Like, you have to map out what those goals are now so that you can start figuring out. You work backwards. You pick what the goal is going to be. Then you start picking out what the time frame is and the terrain that you're going to be. Then you find your race. Then you work backwards You put your training schedule together backwards to figure out when you really have to start with that off-season training, with the base training, because that stuff, you guys, is all coming up faster than you think, okay? So you have to think about the distance and think about this. So Olympic triathlon to half Ironman triathlon is only a 0.3 increase in swim, right? So I lost a lot on that. And then I would think about all those runners, those girls who could run 30 seconds, 45 seconds a mile faster than me. If they have 13 miles to catch me, oh, that's a lot of time. 6 miles is a little bit harder. So see what I mean? You have to think about all those things. Hey, Candace, thank you for sharing. Hey, Tim. All right. So, and C, what is your weakest link? And this is the one I'm calling all you guys out on it, especially you people, you triathletes who finish your last triathlon this season, and then you take your cap and goggles and you throw them away, or you hang them up and you let them collect dust all winter. That's why you don't get better. Fact of the matter is that we like to do what we're good at. So if swimming is your weakness, what do? You stop swimming for the winter and be like, no, I'll get it later. It's the wrong thing to do. And so many people will say, well, yeah, but swimming is the smallest part of the triathlon. And yeah, but you guys, the only way to improve at it is if you keep going. You have to continue, especially with swimming. Running, you can take a few months off and come back and get back fast and come back faster. Swimming can't do that because it's more technique oriented than biking or running is. So whatever that weakest link is going to be, I don't care if it's swim, bike, or run, that's where you want to kind of put some focus into the winter. And so if you go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus, this is all backwards. Weakest link. This one here says swim. Here's all the things that you want to look at if your swim is your weakest link. Here's the bike. Here are all the things you want to do if the bike is your weakest link. And for your run. All you have to do is get this document is go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus. You will download this PDF. It's free of charge. As always, just want to try and help you become a better athlete. But I really want you to think about improving on that weakness. Because if you don't, you'll go back into 2018. You may make a couple of improvements here and there. But if you really want to have a breakthrough year, you guys, if you really want to crush it next year, now is the time to start thinking about what you have to do it. And all of these things are going to come into play, but working your weakness is a huge, huge piece of the puzzle. So please don't put that on the back burner. Okay? Don't. I know it's tempting and you can take some time off. I'm not saying that you can't stop for a little while. But if your last race of this year is September, all right, and I'm talking about triathlon, if it's September and you don't get back in the pool until January or February, guess what? You set yourself back. Now you have January, February, March, maybe April to get yourself back to where you were last year. And then you only have a couple months to try and improve on that. That makes sense. So anyway, questions, guys? I don't see a whole lot of love going on tonight. I don't see hearts or likes or anything. And I don't know if it's not working or you guys just don't like what you're hearing tonight. But all I'm saying is this stuff is golden. How to plan for next season. Next week's topic. Next week's topic is to change your focus. So many of us get into ruts where we focus on the same thing day in, day out. And you know what? You know how what they say, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you expect a different result, that's like the definition of insanity. So next week, I'm going to kind of open it up and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to change your focus within your racing. And it doesn't have to be triathlon. This episode doesn't necessarily have to be for triathlon. You could do all of these for swimming, for biking, for running, right? For you Spartan warrior dash kind of people, all of these things. It's not just about triathlon. Same thing next week. Change your focus. So, hey, Ryan, I'm just about to hop off already. But hey, thank you so much for hopping in. If you guys have questions, please post them in the comments. Any questions or comments, any of your experiences, like what you've done to reflect or choosing races that cater to your strengths, that resulted in a success story. We want to hear that. If you share your successes with people, maybe you can help somebody experience their own success. So please do share like I said, comments, questions, experiences. I go back and read every single comment after these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. Last time, if you want to win these pair of socks that say Finish Strong on the back, all you have to do is share this video. You'll be entered in a raffle. I'll raffle it off next week, where I will talk about why and how you should change your focus with training and racing. So thank you guys so much for hopping in. I appreciate you spending a little bit of your Sunday evening with me, and I'll see you all back here next week, 7 p.m. Central Time. So have a great week.